On this episode of RCKicks, we're going to be fixing this, putting some upgrades in it, getting it running again, and we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at this. So stay tuned. Roll the VT! Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, before we kick off the unboxing of the brushed Zorro, I need to fix this because in an upcoming video I am pitching this head to head against a few other entry buggies, so I can't do that until this is fixed. Now, I've managed to pick up some replacement parts. Believe it or not, when I smashed my X-Max into it at full speed, it only broke one part inside. Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I thought I would need a new chassis and everything, but only one little mount broke, so I picked up a replacement. I did lose a few bits at the same time. I lost the arm pin and I also lost the dog bone. But I picked up replacements and improvements at the same time, and I've also got a pin and the metal mounts. So we're going to fit those, and I picked up some front ones as well at the same time, even though they're not broken on the car. And because I'm pushing this and running 2S and 3S in it, which is asking a lot off this buggy, I managed to find a metal spur gear for it, so I'm going to put that in it as well, because it might save the driveline a little bit longer after abusing the life out of it. Right, let's crack on and get it fixed. This is when you start to realise that having Allen key bolts is a big advantage. I was surprised how much sand had managed to get into the pinion and spur gear area. There was no sand inside the diffs, so that's a bit of a plus. Stupidly on my side, I'd brought the cars back after driving them and just slung them in the cupboard. As you can see, you start to get rust appearing on all the bolts. I was quite surprised to see that the arm pins were not bent. New parts fitted perfectly and they definitely look the part. I know, I'll clean the wheels and tyres soon. Working on the slipper clutch is super easy, and I'm really chuffed to see there was no contamination inside the slipper pads. Right, that's the rear done. We now turn our attentions to the front. Unfortunately, we have to take the whole diff out to get access to the rear screws. You can get the front under tray in a beautiful CNC aluminium, but I didn't want to throw too much money at this kit. I just wanted to fix what was giving me problems and then crack on. I did a little bit of maintenance at the same time, cleaning away some of the gunk and the sand that had obviously crept into every orifice. Working on this car is super easy. There's nothing that was really difficult. The only thing that was a bit of a faff, because I was obviously trying to cheat, was to put in the prop shaft and connect it up to the front and rear diff. Now normally you would take the top deck off, but obviously I didn't want to do that because that was more effort, so I had to kind of balance it and slide in the front bulkhead when I'm done. That did take a little bit longer than expected, mainly because I've got to take the whole rear diff off and all the front diff as well to get to the actual back section of the arm posts. To get to the screws, so it did take a little bit longer. Also, I changed out the slipper clutch to a metal one, so that means I had to dismantle the whole slipper clutch. Now, I'm not sure, I might have to go in and adjust it. I basically opened up the original one and then counted how many turns to actually lock it. Then I remembered that, then I did the same thing on the new one and backed it off a little bit. So I think I'm in the ballpark, but we'll just have to see when we take it for a spin. Now that chore's done, let's check out the brushed Zorro. Let's open it up and see what you get for your money. Now, a lot of you who watch the show regularly will know that I've had one of these on the show quite recently, the brushless version of it. So you think, Gav, why would you get just the brushed and the brushless version? There's not that much different. Granted, the ESC and the motors will be different. Well, it's not quite as straightforward as that, as this is a completely different chassis to the one that's now on the brushless trophy truck. This one has a fixed rear axle, so it is very different. Plus, I thought it'd be quite an interesting one to get in, as the price point's very different, because we can actually dive into them, put them head to head against each other, look at all the pros and cons, and then you can make up your own mind whether you want to spend the extra money or you want to go in at a lower price point, depending on your budget. Or is the lower one a good option, even if you don't have the budget for the brush one? So there's quite a lot to cover on these cars, and in the future I will be putting them head to head as well, so that we can really look into which one is a better value and where you should go if you've got that kind of budget. Anyway, let's get it out of the box and take a look. That's pretty much it in the box, and then you get your standard manual. Now the main difference between this one and the other one, not only being obviously brushless, is it comes with a LiPo and a LiPo charger. In this, it comes with an NIMH battery, which is an 1800 milliamp hour battery. Also, it's got a 60 amp ESC. Price wise, this one is £133.49 and the brushless one is £229 in the UK currently. Now that's a £94 difference, and at first, when you first think about it, you're like, wow, that's a big difference between the two. But when you actually sit down and work out the actual part prices, because you're getting a LiPo battery instead of an NIMH, you're getting a LiPo charger, you're getting a more powerful ESC, you're getting a more powerful motor, it all starts to add up. And I went in and I looked at the parts individually, and yes, you cannot get this, go and buy the ESC, the motor, the battery and the charger and get anywhere near the price of the brushless one. So if you're thinking about just buying it and changing out the ESC for the same one, you're better off just going for the brush one. But that doesn't mean that you can't hunt around and find a good brushless combo that you could put in this. Also, there's a few things on this one that are not actually on that one. So you get your standard slow charger, and you get a few decals and a standard manual. Nothing special there. It also shows you all the parts and part numbers, so you can upgrade or you can replace parts if you break it, so that's not really a problem. And currently there's loads of parts around for this one. The new brushless one, well, that doesn't have as many option parts as this one does. This one you can do some really super duper stuff to it. Personally, from a looks point of view, I quite like the blue more than the orange, and I talked to my son and a few other people, and they tend to agree they prefer the blue. There's also, I think, some things they did in this one that they then looked back and thought wasn't worth doing in the orange brushless one, so they took it out. Classic example, this has a roll cage in blue, which looks really good and stands out, so you'd think on the brushless one it would be orange, but they didn't do the color. Also, they did a few bits and pieces in different colors to really sort of snazz up the kit, which is what they left out. If you're working to this kind of price point, every single thing that costs a few more pence here and there all eats into your profit. Now, as you can see, completely different truck, which is why I wanted to get it. So you've got the fixed axle at the back, and that has got so much travel. I really like the idea of that. You know, if you've got a trophy truck, when you see them going over the sand, they should have loads of articulation, which is what this one has. The front arms are exactly the same as the brushless version, but they're in blue, and I like that. But I can see why they knocked it on the head for a later version, as having all these different colours does add up the price. Tyres are the same, and I really like the tyres. They're soft enough to give you tons of grip, but they don't just burn out straight away if you put them on the road. Standard 550 motor. Oh, my ESC's popped off. I need some more double-sided tape. Battery sits upright in this one. Now, I've seen that you can replace all these for aluminium ones, so you can go quite crazy with this one. Also, the chassis is just this little bit at the front. There is some parts of this that you can interchange, like the front, basically from here forward is identical to the brushless version. One thing that is a bit of a surprise on a car that's budget like this, what you don't see on the brushless one, also you don't see on the Vantage 2.0, it has full metal shocks, being the cheaper one, whereas on the brushless one it actually has a plastic center. So again, I think they maybe have put too much into this with the price point, and the profit margins were too low. Right, let's charge up the battery, fire it up, and take it out for a bit of a blast. So I'm running on a standard NIMH, so I'm not expecting it to go that fast, but hey, we'll just take it for a quick spin, see how it handles. I'm interested to see how the suspension goes. So there you go, that's just a first look at the brushed FTX Zorro. Plenty more coming from these. I've got lots of plans, and we're going to do a head-to-head comparison in the next video, and maybe I'll sprinkle some upgrade love soon. So thanks very much for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.